Good evening. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting for July 17th, 2023. Call the meeting to order. First item of business is to adopt the agenda. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt the agenda.
Second. Commissioner,
Point of order.
Okay.
I want to make a motion to rescind the special call election. To rescind the special call election.
Okay. Is there a second? I don't even know if you can make that motion, but
You're talking about the election of the chair and
The Zoom meeting that we had for election of the chair, I want to make a motion to rescind that meeting.
the meeting that you were on,
The meeting that we had on the Zoom call, we had 4 people. And when the meeting was supposed to start, it didn't start, or the chair didn't start the meeting. The chair had to hold up the meeting till Mr. Lapin came. Mr. Lapin was on the meeting. We had a forum. But Mr. Lapin wasn't there when the forum was, and the meeting was supposed to start. So the chair waited on Mr. Lapin to come and held the meeting up till Mr. Lapin came before they started the special called meeting. So I think that if we can wait on Mr. Lapin to come to have the vote of officers for the special called meeting, we should have had Mr. Jacobs, who had just came, and they called the meeting because Mr. Jacobs couldn't vote because he hadn't been sworn in. So they called a meeting before Mr. Jacobs got here, and Mr. Anderson didn't get the vote. So they got the vote on the officers before Mr. Anderson and Mr. Jacobs got a chance to vote. So I feel like if you can wait on Mr. Lapin to come and hold the meeting up for Mr. Lapin to come so he could vote, you can hold the meeting up for Mr. Anderson and Mr. Jacobs. And I think we should rescind that meeting and have the meeting of special election of officers over again.
is there, first off, I was just having technical difficulties getting on, but whatever. So, I don't know what to do on that one. I've
I
never
don't
had
think
that.
there are any legal issues there. I think it's, if you make a motion, it wouldn't be on the minutes, but probably the best thing is if you make a motion and it's
You have to
seconded.
make a motion to adjust to
and if
vote
it's-
on the issue.
And if it's seconded, then, you could, I don't know what you do with that, but I don't think there are no legal issues with that. I mean, the meeting was, properly called meeting. I would think if you were gonna dispute a meeting, you needed to reconsider the minutes and then vote.
Asked to rescind the meeting, so I think we should have a vote on me rescinding the meeting.
Well, the way I would phrase it, and it gets exactly with what you want to do, because have y'all done the minutes yet? No.
no, we are on the
No.
adoption of
When
the
you come
agenda.
to the minutes, vote to reconsider that meeting. And then if that passes, you can then vote to rescind that meeting. That's how you would legally do it. Now, that is exactly what you want to do. It's just how you would do it.
So you just want to wait till we get.
My understanding is I'm supposed to do it before he takes the chair. If he takes the chair, then I got a legal problem.
Well, I don't think so, because the proper way to rescind a meeting would be at the minutes that were approving that meeting. Now, it's the same point, it's just another agenda item down. I know of no legal matter, if you were successful in your motions, that you wouldn't be able to rescind the meeting. There's no legal impediment to doing it that way. But anyway, that's my advice, is to do it when the minutes, to rescind the meeting of the minutes. If you want to do it some other way, you could just do it and vote on it.
I really don't care, whatever group wants to do. I mean, I don't know what to say it.
I think it's unfair. Why should we wait on you to vote? Well, the reason why they waited on you, because when you came,
James, it's about 7 minutes, number one.
no, it's more than 7 minutes.
No,
When you
what?
came,
How many minutes was it?
when you came, Ms. Singleton immediately voted for you to be the chair.
Yeah, all right.
And then voted for,
Okay.
what's called to be vice
Chair
chair.
Lapine,
Y'all
there
knew
has
what
been
y'all
a
were doing.
motion
And
that
I
has
don't
been
like the way
seconded,
y'all
and
do
it's
things
time
around
for the
here.
vote.
See what I'm saying? That's the reason why I want that meeting rescinded, so these two guys can be a part of it.
Okay.
The last meeting y'all had, y'all, re-elected Don Zeta, and I didn't even know nothing about y'all had a phone meeting to re-elect Don Zeta. I didn't know she was the chair, the re-elected chair, until I got here.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Now we let you be the chair again. You was the chair when I got here. Me and you had a kind of argument about where I'm gonna sit. When I came in, the governor didn't tell me that you could tell your secretary to tell me where to sit.
Yeah.
And she told me where to sit. Me and you had a go-in about that.
James, why are you so angry?
Excuse me?
I said, why are you so angry? Let's just have,
It's not
let's have
that
a
I'm
proper
angry. I want
discussion.
you to
Yes,
do it
are.
right. You can't keep doing it. We got three people
Mayor
that's eligible to be chair in here. You already been chair. Don Zeta already been chair. Y'all a member of the last board
Chair
that done
Lapine.
lost $4 million.
I have
We ain't
no
getting
clue.
nothing accomplished here.
Chair
Why we gonna
Lapine.
get, how we gonna get something accomplished with you
I
and
need
Don
you-
Zeta doing
there
the
is a
same
motion.
thing
It
every
has
time
been
we have a
properly
meeting?
seconded.
We
It is
need new
time for
people
the
here to
vote.
get, and these
Okay.
people wouldn't even be
Oh.
here if we had some
Okay.
new people here doing what we supposed to do. That's right.
Chair Lapine,
So is there a second to your motion?
That's up to you. You supposed to ask for something.
I just asked it.
I do have a question in reference to that. This is on the adoption of the agenda.
Correct.
And so it's in second, that's where it was. So where his motion falls, Mayor Bob, I think they need direction on how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine.
given
I
the
just,
direction,
I don't need to have
If
arguments.
there's not a second, as a practical
If it's not a
matter,
second, then you have to just forget it, because that means that they don't care.
Is there a second to adopt the agenda?
I second.
All those in favor?
Well,
You can call it.
you have two motions at this point. So you
I really
got-
don't,
Yes,
because I don't have to recognize that, do I?
You got two motions.
You
You go with my motion and you up or down it, and then if it passes,
I'll
if it
just-
fails,
you have
then you go with the second motion.
second and James.
Would you just give me some advice?
Y'all
I
don't
don't
know what you're doing. You shouldn't be up here if you don't know what you're doing.
hold on, Mr. Mobley. My advice, just from experience, is to move the matter forward. Is there a second on Mr. Mobley's motion?
Okay. All right, is there a second on Mr. Mobley's motion?
I second.
Then I would have that motion
Now we vote.
and just vote on it.
Okay,
Because here's the thing, you're gonna vote on it in the minutes, you're gonna vote on it,
that's fine.
you know.
That's right.
No, we gotta vote on that in public.
You'd have to be voted in public, yeah.
So, that was seconded?
So you want to vote on the motion that I second, or you want to vote on the motion that Hamilton
The
seconded?
motion is on the table now to vote on my
It's not- we have
motion.
two motions, Mayor Bob.
Well, here's what I would do. You're gonna be here all night,
Yes, I know.
just vote on that.
Okay,
If it passes, technically, you could have done it some other way, but if it passes, it passes.
Yeah. It's fine.
okay.
So,
And I would like to have a hand vote.
well, that's fine.
Okay.
We do it the same way every time.
All right, good.
Actually has to call.
She just calls your name and you say yay or nay,
Yeah.
all right?
and this is the motion for Mr. Mobley's,
To rescind the special
To
call
rescind the
meeting.
special call meeting
Okay.
from whatever date that was, the 19th, possibly, of June?
just confirming. Roll call, Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine?
No.
Commissioner Lindsey?
No.
Commissioner Miller?
No.
Commissioner Mobley?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
No.
Now
Motion
you-
denied.
Now you can go ahead on with the meeting.
Thank you.
I like the public to see what we doing and see what these people up here doing.
Okay.
Now y'all see.
Thank you. All right, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I second.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
No.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, well, James, that was a good segue into my next subject, my address. So, but I do want to recognize the vice chair, Donzetta Lindsay, for this coming year, and the secretary, Ashley Miller. So I want to say some things real quick. Today, as I assume the role of chairman of the Recreation Commission, I'm honored to take on the role of chairman. My mission will be to bring stability to our board and RCRC, the RCRC Commission. As commissioners, it's essential that we do not become entangled in the day-to-day activities of the commission. Instead, our focus needs to be on setting policies that drive continuous improvement within our park system by establishing clear objectives and strategic direction. We can ensure that our parks evolve to meet the changing needs and desires of our community. It is our responsibility to create a better park experience for our tax-paying citizens who deserve a well-maintained facilities, engaging programs, and safe, welcoming environment for recreation. Next, respect and collegiality are the heart of our interactions with our fellow commissioners. We need to treat each other with respect, fostering an atmosphere of mutual understanding and cooperation. Our monthly meetings should exemplify decorum, where differing opinions are valued, debated constructively, and decisions are reached collectively by operating in a collegial manner. We can harness the diverse perspective and expertise of our commissioners, ultimately driving positive outcomes for Richland County. While we focus on the needs of our fellow citizens, it's imperative that we keep the greater good of Richland County in mind. Our decisions and actions should always align with the best interests of our community as a whole by actively listening to our constituents and staying attuned to their needs. We can assure that our efforts are responsive and impactful. It is through our commitment to service that we can create a park system that not only fulfills the desires of our residents, but also enriches the lives and strengthens the bonds of our community. In conclusion, as chairman of the Recreation Commission, I'm committed to upholding our mission. Together, we will foster a positive work environment, set policies for improvement, treat each other with respect, and prioritize the needs of our citizens. By embodying these principles, we will shape the future of Richland County's recreation landscape and create an experience that brings joy, inspiration, and well-being to all that engage with our parks. Thank you. All right, I think that we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the public hearing, general fund and Linwick Enterprise. Then, we'll take action on the minutes, and then we'll get into public input, because I know a lot of people are here for that. But first, we gotta get to the general fund.
Chair Lapine, there is no sign up for public hearing today.
Okay. All right. Action minutes, we'll request the board to approve the minutes from June 19th, the regular board meeting. Can I get a motion?
Chair, I'd like the motion that we approve the minutes from the June 19th, 2023 regular board meeting. I second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, public input?
We have 8 to speak for public input. When your name is called, please come to the podium. You will be given 2 minutes to speak, and there will be a timer to notify you that your time has ended. First person for public input tonight is Ms. Felicia Robinson.
Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Felicia Robinson, and I'm a daughter of the community from the Hopkins, Eastover, and Gadsden area of Richland County. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before the Board of Commissioners and the community and be able to voice my concerns openly. Therefore, I came before you today not to rehash what we have addressed on the agenda for the past couple of meetings, but rather tell you how disappointed I am in the management of the pool at Hopkins Park. We as community members are in disdain that as stewards of what we have in place, the park as a facility and the pool has not been properly overseen, managed, and there appears to be some inherent disparities between all the parks in Richland County. I plead with you to collaborate with the county and the state officials to replace the pool at Hopkins Park, not repair it, replace it. Discuss every phase with the community so that you are as transparent as possible. Give us an accounting of what your timelines are and which business partners you are seeking or exploring funding options with so that we can continue to have a viable amenity in the community. We have children on the waiting list for swim lessons. Our seniors need aquatic activities and the need for opportunities to train our youth to manage these programs and become future leaders of the parks and serve on boards are needed. It is my intention to be at each and every meeting until we have a continued communication on the agenda of this status of this issue. And we would like solid, progressive talks on plans to progress and not regress. We need ideas and change, and we will stay attentive and diligent on this matter until we have a resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person we have is Ms. Sharetta Reese.
My name is Sharetta Reese. I'm the president of Lorton Youth Baseball and Softball League that's housed at Coffin Road Park. And I'm just here to state a few of our issues. For us, during the fall, we rent out the facility, but at the same time, RCRC hosts soccer on our same baseball and softball fields. But we've already signed a contract and paid our 5% to the county. Our other issues, field maintenance. For the past 3.5 years, our bases still have not been aligned. The batting cage, no pitcher's mound, grass cutting, and if it rains, the dugouts will flood. I met with RCRC Sports Activities Management, all this stuff, I think we met like a year ago, and they kind of assured us that we would get the same upgrades as Dentsville, Polo, and all those parks, but we have nothing. As far as the canteen, we haven't had a canteen in 3.5 years. When we asked about having a food truck, we were told we had to pay RCRC, but per my contract, it says if we do not have a canteen, we can have one, but that's not what we're told verbally. As far as the appliances, when they did come redo our canteen, they took out all of our industrial stuff and put household products in there. I never received a walkthrough when it got finally done. I called once our season's over and I got, oh yes, it's done, but we're not doing a walkthrough. We're not doing anything to make sure it's up to par. As far as our opening day, they locked our gates. I called upper management, no one had a code. So we're out there for opening day ceremony. We can't get on the field. They gave us 5 to 10 codes and none worked. During the fall and winter, we were the only park in Richland County that was locked and chained. I know because I went to every park every day, took pictures, took emails, and our response, the person was over me. And they could not give me a prop. They said, oh, what every park is. I'm right here right now. This park is not locked, it's not chained. But Coffin Road Park was locked and chained in the fall and winter in no other park. As far as hosting tournaments, we were told we couldn't because it's a fee, but once when I look back at my contract, we can, as long as it's sanctioned by LRYBSL. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reese.
Next person we have is Mr. Andrew Scott.
Thank you so very much for having me here. Never thought I would be in this position to be an advocate for folk with special needs and disabilities. I have a burning desire to share some things with you that may not be favorable to some, but however, it's burning in our hearts with a passion for people who are living with disability. I'm a longstanding resident and also a 16-year retiree from RCRC, which I proudly worked as the manager of disability programs. However, we've had a lot of uphill battles in facilities to be able to house the individuals for certain activities. And over the years, living in the 21st century, we were washing out diapers by hand, putting kids on ping pong tables to change them without hot water in the facilities. Gladly, recently we've been moved up. However, it's still not suitable for people with disabilities. It's a shame, and therefore that we have facilities in our areas that can accommodate, but it puts the staff in a unique position when we have to move around different places in order to be able to find a suitable place. It also makes them feel uncomfortable knowing that they're going to a facility they're not always welcome to be a part there. So what I'm asking this board is to do an assessment of how we're doing things with those with special needs, but who can't speak for themselves. I have committed myself after being retired to be an advocate for those folks. It could have been your child, my child, could have been one of us. It only takes an accident. It only takes illness that we're in that position. Sad to say that we were located at Bluff Road Park for approximately 3 days. We had to move because we wouldn't want it there. That broke a lot of people's heart because the facilities are suitable and well prepared to receive folk with disability. It's secluded, it's off the road for safety purposes. It had the facilities large enough that we're able to offer programming for people with disabilities to be able to function. Maybe little Johnny don't run like your son. Or maybe we don't generate funds like many of the others. But the last time I looked in the Word of God as being a pastor for 30 years in this area, it said, when you do this to the least of these, you do it unto me. So I hope we do a better job, and I'm asking this board to do an assessment of how we can do a better job in making ways for folk with disabilities. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Scott.
you.
Next person we have to speak is Mr. Darrell Davis.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm quite sure a few of you here know who I am, but I'm gonna get down to to my issues before my 2 minutes up. I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on. Do y'all have any clue how nasty these parks is? I went online. Everything that I complained about and everything I talked about, I show it to you online with the mildew, wasp nests all over the cobwebs. The places are just filthy. I walked around Coffin Road Park. The bathrooms are full up with feces. In the bathroom, I filmed this. It took them 4 days to try to do anything about it. My thing is, do anybody have a clue of what's going on in Richland County Park and Recreation as far as helping these seniors? There's no programs for the seniors. They are complaining about they don't have their work materials to do the little craft things. So I took it upon myself to go around to all the parks. Every park that I went to, Eastover, Hopkins, Gadsden, mildews all on the windows. These are new facilities now, brand new facilities. Went to Bluff Road Park, state-of-the-art park. Mildew everywhere, grass not being maintained. It's just like everybody's just here for a paycheck, man. The place is just filthy. But then I have to look online, Mr. Reese and their Golden Glove guy from Hopkins made it to the big leagues. Want to help these kids. Want to do the right thing for the community for free. And it's just like they, throwing them to the wolves. Don't even want to cooperate with them. What I'm asking is, please, can we get somebody to get this thing? I used to work here. You understand me? I want somebody to get this thing here back on order like it used to be, how clean the parks used to be, the recreation things for the seniors and all of that. And of course, I got a major issue with my swimming pool. I was lied to about the swimming pool. It was losing 2,000 to 1,000 gallons of water a day. Went back the next day, the water ain't moved. So, and then I was told that, you know, they want to try to get the pool fixed and whatnot. If you could have fixed it, you shouldn't have closed it. But all I'm asking y'all to do is get somebody that is gonna get up off their behind and walk around to these parks and get them back up the park, because they are nasty and filthy. If you wanna, you can just leave and go to St. Andrews. I've been over there today. Just go over to St. Andrews Road and just look. And it doesn't make any sense, man, at all. And please, let's get something for these kids to do, man. I go to Easter, the pool's closed. Where can we swim at? They say we ain't got enough lifeguards. I went a video over there to Greenview. They got enough lifeguards right now. They got 23 lifeguards in Greenview. They can rent us some. And so what they do, I asked them how did they get them. They say they went around to Maxi Grade where these kids are actually swimming, and they put up a sign saying that they will pay for them to take a lifeguards lesson, but the contract or the certification will remain with them, so you won't come in and just take the license. But they got enough lifeguards, now they got 24 lifeguards. And our biggest issue, we got all these parks, all these nice facilities, nice pools, they tell us we can go there, but we don't have lifeguards. So what I'm asking you board members to do is please, if we got to come all the way down, you know, to see who is running the facilities and what's going on, let's try to get it back right, because it's filthy. It's filthy and it's uncalled for. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next person is Mr. Charles Epps.
Good evening to all of you. Last month, I was here at this board meeting, and I was very disappointed at the request to deny the waiver of the deposit fee of the Community Neighborhood Association to meet at the park. I've been involved with Richland County Recreation Commission for over 50 years. And even since the inception of Bluff Road Park. These neighborhood associations have been the eyes and ears of the commission. We also have partnered with the commission, the community partnered with the commission, doing volunteer work. And we don't serve as community organization or neighborhood or homeowner association. We don't serve chicken and potato salad. We come there 1 hour to meet. We set up chairs and we take chairs down. And I'm very disappointed that there's a charge. For most of you, many of you do not know, I chaired the commission at one time. We fought hard back in 2008 or 2007 to get a $50 million bond to enhance the centers, enhance the park, build a new park like Bluff Road, St. Andrews, centers, especially in the Lower Richland area, like Hopkins Community Center and down in Eastover, Crossroad, where these citizens, where these people that have a meeting, they won't have to have a meeting in the house anymore, but in these centers. And many of those people, they don't have the $200 for a deposit. And I want to say that some time ago when we discussed this, it may be in your bylaws that there won't be a fee for neighborhood association, a homeowner association. There won't be a fee. We want to partner with you, and I want to let you know that Richland County Recreation is not a money-making venue. To me, I must say this. It seems like it's all about money. Where's the enhancing life about recreation? And other thing I want to say, please open up in these parks and give these young men, 18, 19, 20 years old, a place to go and release some of that steam. Well, that's why they're in the street, because they can't come into your park anymore. And if you do anything, it's a fee. It's a fee. Thank y'all. Please consider that.
Thank you.
Mr. Epps, Reverend Epps, just so you know, some of the delegation did call about the same issue. Senator Jackson had called, and we've looked into this, and I think that we'll get you a positive solution on this very, very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next person is Ms. Carletta Wilson.
My name is Carla Wilson, a lifelong resident of the Lordton community. The board and RCRC staff is aware of my position and frustration with the sudden closing of Hopkins Park Pool, so I will not reiterate the frustration that I have. I have other concerns at this moment. What is RCRC board and acting executive director's protocol in response to citizens' input? We don't get any type of formal written or verbal reply to our concerns or issues. We have not heard anything back from the June 19th meeting or additional emails sent prior to that, but I'm happy to see it's on the agenda for tonight. If we have been informed before now, maybe we could have had some additional questions or responses. This does not apply to our RCRC staff because some of them have me on speed dial and replied to me right away, and I thank them for that. When people are not informed, they start drawing their own conclusions and spreading rumors. We want facts and transparency so we can work through this together. Communication between the parks and community about upcoming events and activities needs to be revisited because the game plan booklet is not working in the Lordton community to promote activities. Maybe reconsider that. Robocalls, bulk mailouts, digital marquees, or messages on park answering machines to keep us abreast of what's going on. The $50 million bond referendum that was passed in 2008, have all the phases been completed? If not, how much funds are still available? We need working security cameras at all RCRC facilities. We have staff working alone and especially at night for rentals with no operable cameras. That is not acceptable. The executive director position, is there a community member at large on the search committee? And what is the status of that? There are well-known expressions that we are aware of. If you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. I'm here to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Remember the mission of the statement, enriching lives and communities through diverse recreation opportunities. There are a lot of us here today who cannot sign up by 3 o'clock to speak, but they're here to support everything that's been said so far. So everybody's in conclusion with me. Stand up, please, concur. This represents part of our community. Everybody could not be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person we have is Mr. Roger Leaks.
Good evening. As stated, I'm Roger Leaks, and I'm a resident of Eastway Park, and Bluff Road Park is our home park. Back in 1970 or so, we worked very hard to get a park down there in that area. As a matter of fact, Darrell Jackson's father and some other people worked hard, right along with myself, to get a park. And we were told at that time that it was for the community and we could use it and we wouldn't have to be worrying about meeting in somebody's house or trying to find a church or someplace to meet. I'm basically echoing the same thing that Reverend Epps has said. But then it worked pretty well. But lately, when I went over to get our dates, we have to sign up for the dates you're going to use the park. I signed up for my dates this year, my 12 months out. And then when I finished, the rental person told me, said, well, yeah, that's fine, but you got to pay a $200 deposit. Well, $200 deposit, we don't have any money. Our treasurer doesn't even have $200. It's a bunch of old people that meet down there. I'm probably one of the younger people that meet down there. I'm serious. The young people won't come. So, but we're working, trying to get them involved too. About 20 of us meet down there 1 hour per month, and we clean up the place. We leave it in immaculate condition, and we come home. And so we can't understand why we have to pay that $200, especially since we don't have it. So I'm asking the board tonight to try to grant us a waiver on that thing, so we can continue to meet down there without having a whole lot of headaches and what have you. And we appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next person is Miss Gloria Brown.
Hello, Commissioners.
Hello.
This basically applies to Commissioner Lappin and Commissioner Lindsay. October 9th, 2019, there was a book signing at Right Direction Christian Center. It was Miss Erica Campbell's book signing. Richland County Recreation Commission was one of the sponsors. On October the 21st, I attended a board meeting, and I asked at that time, how did Richland County Recreation Commission benefit from this sponsorship? I was told at that time, it was Commissioner Cotton, and I think, I might be wrong, but I think Commissioner Lindsay, you was vice chair. I was told at that time that they would give me an answer. I would get an answer at the next meeting. The next meeting, November 18th, I asked the question again. No answer. And I was told that I would get an answer. Well, it's July 17th, 2023. And as of this day, I still don't have an answer as to how this sponsorship benefited the Richland County Recreation Commission. As most of you all know, I'm an advocate, not just for this center which I attend, but I am an advocate for the whole Richland County Recreation Commission. As Ms. Tamika Williams will testify to, I've seen her recently. So I still want to know how this benefited the Richland County Recreation Commission. And I'm wondering, when will I get an answer? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person, the last person is Miss Helen Taylor Bradley.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And I'd like to thank you all for giving us an opportunity to talk tonight. First of all, I'd like to say that I was on this board back in 1997, served until 2002, when several of the Recreation Commission buildings were built in the Lower Richland, in the Lower Richland area. At that time, no one did anything for Lower Richland. When I got on there, I started screaming, and I was screaming for what we deserve, what our tax dollars paid for. And at that time, I told the chair, which was Mr. Davis, I said, I am on this board, and I asked to be put on this board because I want an equal, fair share of what's going on at Richland County Recreation Commission. We are actually the largest part of Richland County, Lower Richland is. So we deserve a lot more than what we're getting. And I heard these gentlemen saying about having to pay to use the park. Well, we've already paid. We pay when we pay our taxes. So we shouldn't have to come up here every time something goes wrong to ask for our fair share or give us back our pool or any of that stuff. We're here tonight to ask you all to not forget about us. We have several people representing the Hopkins area, at least you're supposed to be, because you live down there. So I'm asking you to do what you need to do for the entire county. Don't just go on one side. Do your fair share. Give us our fair share. When we go up there to the county to pay those tax bills, they don't say, you live in Lower Richland, you don't have to pay because we're not going to do anything down there. We have to pay or we lose. So right now, we don't want to lose anything else. We don't want you to give us anything that's not ours, but we do want you to give us our fair share. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That completes the public input for tonight's meeting.
All right, can we go ahead and get a financial report?
Good evening, Chair Lapine, members of the Commission Board. I'd like to begin tonight by providing you with an update on the General Enterprise Fund financials for the period July 1 through June 30, 2023. Total revenues for the general fund for the 12-month period were approximately $16.8 million compared to $16.5 million this time last year. Represents a $377,000 increase in revenues, or 2.29% increase. Program revenue and sales of assets were the largest driver for this increase. Program revenues for the 12-month period were $887,000 compared to $820,000 around this time last year. Represents approximately $67,000 increase in revenues, or approximately 8%. Parks and rental, as well as recreational and athletic program revenues, were the largest driver for the increase. General fund expenditures for this period were $15.8 million compared to $15.8 million this time last year. Represents approximately 0.38% increase, or $61,000. The biggest driver for the increase in expenditures would be fleet expenses. That includes fuel, repair, and supply parts for our fleet. Enterprise fund revenues for the current period were approximately $1.125 million compared to $1.090 million this time last year. Represents approximately $34,000 increase, or 3%. The largest driver for that increase was actually green and range fees. Enterprise fund expenditures for this period were $989,000 compared to $950,000 this time last year. Represents approximately 4% increase, or $38,000. Golf operating expense was the largest driver for this increase. This was largely due to golf cart operating costs, as we did purchase a number of used carts during the fiscal year.
Hey, Ryan, just for Commissioner Jacobs, I wasn't here last week, but just so he knows the difference between enterprise and general fund real quick, so he understands the discussion in the future, just so you know, could you explain that real quick?
Absolutely.
I think it's just a good.
So in general, our general fund is our governmental type activities. It's largely funded through property tax revenues that are allocated by the county. And we also generate some revenues under our general fund from our programming. Enterprise fund is largely Linwood Golf Course. That's our business type activities. We use a separate fund to account for Linwood Golf Course because they are self-sustaining enterprise, meaning all expenditures that they incur are supported by revenues that they generate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, and I think we're gonna get into discussion later, but everybody might not be here, and yeah, I think that maybe it's a good point just to understand, but so going back to the general fund, we did put in obviously for increases with the county but we were kept at the same number as we were last year, correct?
So we did request an increase to the millage allocation.
Correct.
The number of mills remained the same. We were
Right.
approved at the no mill increase. However, we are projected for an increase in total dollar value of that allocation because the value of the mill did increase.
Because it's just important for everybody to understand that the big item that we need to get our arms around is for big capital expenditure items.
Yeah.
And we only have about $1 million, I believe, allocated, what's our budget number?
Capital
It's-
outlay.
No, it's the capital
Capital
outlay
Capital.
is very small, so
Right.
like, we need to, as a group, and especially from you guys, is try to figure out a source moving forward, whether it's through the government or whatnot, but we have to come up with a plan to get some money quickly.
Yeah.
Because, if we wait 6 months or a year, then all of a sudden it's gonna take another 6 months to design a pool, let's say, and then it's gonna take another year to build it, we're talking 3 years. So we gotta maybe get a task force together, Ryan, to really, and Tamika, to just focus in on trying to figure out dollars for a couple major improvements. I know it's not part of your report, so just came
Absolutely.
to mind, and I don't wanna I'd like to talk about it later, but anyway.
Chair Levine, Ryan, you moved on to the LINRIC, but can I go back to,
Absolutely.
the, general expense? So I see capital outlay is, capital improvement, I'm sorry, not outlay, is 1 million, just a little bit north of that. But I have a question, you remind us when our payments will come from the mill. So when is our next payment from county council?
Okay, so we receive property tax revenue each month.
Right,
So we will likely receive some revenue in July and some in August. I just want to stress, though, that the bulk of that property tax revenue actually comes in the last half of the fiscal year. And I would say the vast majority, it comes in January and February of the fiscal year.
okay. I thought it was a quarterly basis. I didn't realize it was a monthly basis.
We do receive checks from the county each month.
And so the 0.38 increase in expenditures, you're attributing that to the fleet expenses. So that's where I'm gonna see that.
That was the largest driver for the increase in expenditures, was the fleet. We were very close to what we spent last year in terms of total expenditures for the general fund.
Thank you.
Ryan, you have received, you have received money from the state, right?
From the state?
Yeah.
No, so our general fund, it's largely funded through property tax revenue that we receive from the county, as well as some self-generated revenue. It's typically less than $1 million, about $886,000 total for the fiscal year that we just completed in June.
So you have received money to do the employee pay raises?
We don't receive money from the state. We're not considered state employees. As well as, when the county does a COLA increase, that is completely separate and independent from our agency. We are an independent unit of local government. Although we do receive funding from the county, we receive that from property tax revenue. When they do a COLA increase for county employees, it is only for those employees that are on the county's payroll. It does not include millage agencies.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. All right, Tamika, are you done, Ryan?
No, he's still.
We actually have the budget.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. On the evening of June 6th, Richland County Council approved funding for millage agencies. RCRC, as well as most millage agencies, was approved at the no mill increase rate. The county has allocated $16.455 million to the Richland County Recreation Commission's general fund for general operating purposes. For many of the millage agencies, including RCRC, this allocation was more than the fiscal year 23 allocation, but less than the requested funding for fiscal year 24. As such, we were required to adjust our proposed budget for this meeting. During the month of June, RCRC leadership met to balance the budget, given the approved figures from the county. This was a collaborative effort, including representatives from all RCRC divisions. Adjustments were made to the proposed budget, and they revolved around the timing of capital projects and purchases, with some projects being considered in future periods, as well as adjustments to general operating expenditures, which moved them closer to fiscal year '23 actuals. RCRC will continue to explore grant funding opportunities to supplement our operating budget derived from property taxes. What has been provided tonight is a recommended budget based on the updated figures from the county, and you will see that in your packets. What we presented is the final proposed budget for fiscal year '24, as well as a comparison to the initial proposed budget figures. The last column on that sheet represents the change from the initial proposed to the final.
Chair Lippin.
Yes, hey, Hamilton, yes, sir.
Ryan, and this may be a question for Director Williams, but in this budget, is there a plan to give our employees any raises?
Yes, there is. We budgeted for a 3% cost of living increase. That would take effect in January of the fiscal year.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. All right. Unfinished business?
So the first unfinished business was a request for facility fees for Starlight Neighborhood Association. They requested to use Bluff Road Park to hold their monthly meetings. We currently have in place a policy 8015, which is public use for facility fees. A neighborhood association facility fees may be waived or reduced for the use of certain facilities during normal operating hours. Neighborhood associations are not charged facility fees. However, what's in place right now is just a deposit that would have to be paid. This is a request for waiving the deposit, not facility fees. According to the approved fee schedule and the fee setting schedule policy 8010, the fees will be implemented by the agency, which included the deposit on all facility rentals. So if you recall last year, last fall, we actually, in October, approved the facility fees and this updated policy. So currently, I know that the recommendation will last to deny this request and that the deposit be paid by the association, but I do understand that there's another recommendation considered. So I will follow your lead as board members.
When I saw that this was coming up and we talked earlier in the week, we were gonna look into, the reason for the deposit was obviously just as a deposit. But I think that, as we probably all understand, that there's really, homeowners associations aren't doing any sort of destruction or damage to our facilities. So I think as a group, we need to look at that policy at our next meeting and have it amended, would be my conversation to everybody here. But for the purposes of tonight, I think that the homeowners association's fees should be waived, security deposits, excuse me.
You have to make that motion being that it's part of the policy. And this will be for homeowners associations and also neighborhood associations.
Chair Lapine, I'd like to make a motion that we review the waiver of facility fees for neighborhood associations and homeowner associations and allow those fees to be waived.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Singleton, is the facility fees are already waived as the written policy. It would be the deposit.
Refundable, I'm sorry, Chair Lapine, I'd like to make a motion that we, I'm asking for the approval of the waiver of the non-refundable facility fees for the neighborhood associations and identified homeowner associations. Did I get it right?
Deposit.
The non-refundable deposit. I'm sorry, guys, non-refundable deposit for the neighborhood association and homeowner associations that have been identified. The deposit.
I second.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley? Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Motion approved.
So that would just go to what we have on the agenda, right? Those deposits are waived.
That will cover for Eastway, the request for waiver of fees for Eastway Park Neighborhood Association. It will fall the same as the deposit being waived.
So shouldn't that be,
Starlight.
And Starlight.
Girl Scout Mountain to Midlands.
No.
Just parks.
So it's just for the neighborhood associations and the homeowners associations.
I'll make a second amendment. Once you all agree, then I will I will do another request for Girl Scouts Mountain Midlands.
Okay.
I'll do a second.
So
Okay,
on,
so we're good on neighborhood associations, right?
and homeowners association,
All right. So we don't have to talk about, we're good with those tonight.
with those two.
They're waived forever, as of now? Is that right? Or do we have to, we have to amend that?
We gotta amend the policy.
Yes, we would have to come
To
back
change
with,
the policy, correct?
yes, you would have to change the policy to reflect the, your information.
Perfect, all right. Okay,
The request for a waiver of fees for the Girl Scout Mountain to Midlands, they have requested to use Meadow Lake to hold their meetings twice a month, from August through December. Nonprofit organizations are already charged 50%, towards the regular rental fee. It is recommended that the Girl Scouts will pay the rental fee that covers the dates requested on the application. So they are already, will receive the 50% off.
That's 50% off of the rental fee, right? But not the deposit, correct?
Right.
Still, okay.
Correct.
They asking us to waive the deposit.
No, waiving, they're requesting to waive the fee, but they're already a nonprofit, which they already receive 50% off the regular rental fee.
is there any discussion about that?
No, let's do it.
Pardon? Couldn't hear you.
No problem, let's do it.
All right, well, I need a motion one way or the other for this.
You wanna make a motion?
James, you make a motion?
She can make it. As secretary, let her work.
I'd like
So
to
I
make
wa-
a
I'm-
motion to waive the fees for the Girl Scouts Association.
Second.
I just want to be clear, I did make a recommendation, but I am following your lead as commissioners. So my recommendation was to still have them pay the facility fee, being that it was already half off. But if you choose to move forward with the request to waive their fee, I will follow what you request.
Yeah, we'll waive them kids.
I'd like to make a motion to waive the fee for the Girl Scout Association.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine?
No.
Commissioner Lindsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley?
Yeah.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Yes. So I would like to have a discussion about Hopkins Pool. I do want to share with you tonight a few pictures that we have here to show the current condition of Hopkins. Hopkins Park Pool is closed to the public, and currently giving you an update, we have actually drained the pool. You can go to the next slide, please. Hopkins Pool here, as you walk into the pool, you will see to the left where there's a long crack all the way to the pool, and also you will show that the pool has been drained. I do want to take the time and give a little close-up of what the pool actually looks like when we had drained it. In the previous meeting, we showed you pictures where when the pool was full, that water was running out of the cracks. Every crack that was on deck, there was crack that were going into the grass. This pool was seeping with water. Next slide, please. Going down into the bowl of the pool, as you will go around the edges, you will see that there is, just from the top surface of it going into the panels, there are just the cracks all the way around. You can actually see going along where the 4-foot areas is just coming from at the very top and the edge of the pool. Next slide. And commissioners, I did provide some pictures of there for you too. Next slide, please. As you go further down into the pool, just looking along the side and going towards the deep end of the pool, you just see more and more cracks throughout the pool. You couldn't, of course, see everything that's going on when the water was in there, but we see that we also have build up. Green algae is just on the edge of the pools there within the cracks. We don't know how far underneath that surface, that pool deck, that this has actually formed. Okay. All right, next. And this is just another picture showing a little bit closer on the deep end of the pool where this pool foot cap is 9 feet. And so we're just showing you other areas. It was plastered a couple of years ago. However, that those areas in the pool, on the pool deck, you're still seeing cracks where they were actually fixed.
Tamika, she asked, do you know who fixed that the first time?
Who did the plaster?
I can't remember the company who came in and did that.
Is that not something
I
that
can
would
get
be
you
under
to-
warranty?
Excuse me?
Would that not be under warranty?
I'll have to double
I
check.
guess I still have a lot of questions. Did we ever figure out, I see all of the problems. I'm just wondering, did we ever figure out how much a new pool would cost? Also, how much it would be to repair this? And did we ever get any second opinions? I understand that it might be out of the realm of expertise for one company, but could another company repair this? I'm just wondering about a second opinion. It looks like the entire pool may need to be replastered.
This is more than just replastering. This is more than just replastering.
I understand what you're telling me, but I'm just wondering, do we have another opinion from a pool company for how much a new pool would cost versus what it would be to repair this?
Currently today, I don't as of yet. I have been speaking to a couple of companies that we would actually have them to come out, but we had to actually have to get them to drain it. We had to get it drained first for them to be able to do that and do an assessment.
Tamika, yeah, and just to reiterate, I think that it was, one of the reasons I want to put this on the agenda tonight was to give, hopefully, like we could get some sort of new report, maybe within 10 business days, 2 weeks, And if we have to have a special call meeting to deal with the pool situation, I think we should. Because I was just thinking, I mean, I've seen these swimming pools where they put liners over them. I'm not saying that's a perfect fix, but if there's something we can do to have
To get
quick-
these
a
kids
quick
swimming
fix,
again, you know, for
and then
next
obviously we need to
season.
redo the pool, period, or a new pool with, hopefully a lot, can be improved immensely, but is there anything we can do, whether it's we put down a liner, something? But I would love to get a consultant to come talk to us within the next 2.5 weeks if we could.
Yes, I can do that.
All right.
Next slide. So this is just the other end, the more shallow end facing when you enter into the pool. And going up to the side, we'll see where some of the plates have came off. So this pool is, again, is not in good condition. Next slide. This is on top of the deck where there have been different areas where, again, the pool has cracked. It's kind of like this, how your home floor, if you have wooden floors and it buckles because of so much water. So this is kind of like an area that we're looking at here, where if you actually go and step on it, it's kind of cracking. So that's the top of the deck. There are several areas on top of the deck that actually looks like this. Thanks. And these are, again, close, like I said, going out to where the grass on the outside of the fence. These are where cracks leading on the deck to the edge of the deck. Next slide, please. This is, again, some patchwork that we've done, but as you a little closer, you can see, again, cracks are continuing to come back over time. So these are other areas that are on top of the pool deck. Next slide. The first picture actually shows where it actually came up a little bit. So that's showing where it's more like a sharp edge. And so it's kind of crumbled, and that was also another patch area that we had to try to do. But again, that has came apart as well, and that's buckling up. And then the second picture is just a crack from like the building, and that's going all the way up to the pool deck. So I wanted to be able to show those pictures and just talk a little bit about with the pool, like how long it would take, to build a pool. Of course, with discussion, it would depend on the size of the pool that you want. You need to be a demolition of the pool, the size, structures, what amenities that will be out there at the site. So it will take time. I wouldn't have an estimate of what that would actually be. We would have to have architects to come in, consultants to come in to actually discuss about what type of pool and amenities that would be, particularly at that site. We have started to look as an agency on what avenues that we can seek for funding. We have looked at the Land Water Conservation Fund. We're also looking at the Parks and Recreation Development Funds, USA Pools. Also, the National Park Service has an outdoor recreation programs grant that we possibly can go out. So we're already looking at some opportunities to seek funding. In reference to if we can, what necessary funds that we would need to get a pool or rebuild a pool, we can get funds by sending letters to constituents. We can do fundraisers. We can do donations and sponsorships.
Director Williams, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we definitely need to make sure that we're moving forward with trying to get a resolution and solutions to the pool. Now, I thank you for giving us the pictures, but I think we all know the condition that the pool is in, and no respect or disrespect to Commissioner Jefferson or Lapine, but I don't think we really need to go at trying to patch the pool up again. I think we need to definitely be very aggressive in trying to find someone to come and look over the field at Hopkins Park and find out what it would cost. I've spoken with many state leaders, state officials, as well as some of our other leaders, and they all said they need numbers to try to get us to where we need to be. So the first thing I think should be us definitely trying to get some numbers so that when we're speaking with these different people that we may know, that we're able to say this is the cost that we're looking at so that we can get those funds. Also, I'm not fully aware of how it works, but I believe that we do have a foundation, and I know that there are some private investors or private people, organizations that may want to give to this project. So we definitely need to make sure that that is up and running as it should run and running correctly so that we can offer even that source as a resource to us getting this pool done. But I definitely feel like we need to be moving towards getting all the necessary measures out to Hopkins Park as soon as possible.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for that.
How did the pool get this bad in the first place? Did y'all say y'all repairing it every week or every month? I wouldn't have brought these people back to repair the pool that was looking like this. This looked like nobody ever did anything to it.
I think that because that it wasn't kept up properly, it looks like this. But I do believe that lots of things could be repairable, and for us to not go down that avenue and to get a price on a new pool, I don't understand why we wouldn't. Why we wouldn't have a company that could come out and make this pool look brand new and operate brand new.
I mean, and that's what I was trying to say, Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes,
is
sir.
that if there's a quick fix to repair, I definitely agree it needs to be replaced and upgraded,
And I
110%.
understand. I don't knock that opinion. I guess in my opinion, I don't
I
want
just
it to
want the
get
kids
swept
swimming.
under the rug.
I'm just, but what I'm worried about is to go fund and build a new pool.
Mhm.
It's gonna take a long time. And we need something quick. So I definitely think that we need to make this a top priority of this commission.
Right.
But I would love to have just I would love to have the kids swimming this year if it could happen.
Right.
Okay?
And I
But,
understand that. My sole objective is to make sure that we get a new pool.
I agree.
And even if we get that, I would like to have some type of surety that there will be a new pool. I don't want to patch it and then it stays patched.
Yeah, I agree.
For the next
I think we
3 to
all
5
agree.
years.
Well, not necessarily patch, but repair the entire, repair it. So basically, you would replaster the entire pool.
Right. Well, I think it's been there since, I believe, 1970. I'm not sure, so I think it's about time for us to get an upgrade.
I don't know if anybody is a pool specialist in this room.
That's why I just want to get somebody in here.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Director Shanahan.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, we already determined that they
Thank
need
you.
a new pool.
Okay, thank you.
Let's get the money to get them a new pool.
Yes, sir. Thanks. All right. Tamika, other business?
That's, under unfinished business, that was the last one.
Okay, and then your
New business?
your report?
New business?
New business.
Yes. So for new business, we just need to, approve the budget resolution for the operating, budget, general operating budget in Limerick. So you do have the budget resolution before you.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey. Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley. Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
The next item is the request for a waiver of fees for Royal Scholars Homeschool Association. They are requesting to use St. Andrews Park on 26 Friday dates, starting August the 18th and 2023, going through April 26, 2024. In your packet, you will find the facility application information. It is recommended that the Royal Scholars Homeschool Association pay the rental fee that covers the dates requested on the application. They are a nonprofit organization, which they will be charged 50% of the regular rental fee.
Can I, Ms. Williams, do we know, and I see that this is a homeschool academy, do we know whether they charge the kids that are in the school?
I'm not sure of that.
I would like,
I suggest that we table this motion until further study.
Can I get y'all to speak into the mic, please? We didn't hear it.
I think they've asked to have it tabled so we can do some further.
Yes, I just made a motion to table this discussion until further study.
Okay, seconded by Anderson.
Commissioner Anderson? Yes. Commissioner Jacobs?
yes.
Commissioner Lapine?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley? Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Motion approved.
The request for a waiver of facility fees for Pine Grove Cemetery Association. They are a community organization requesting to use Pine Grove Community Center to hold their quarterly meetings in July, October, January, and April. In your packet, you will find the facility application information. Previously, they were using the facilities and not being charged, but we have no records showing that they had actually brought it officially to the board. So we're bringing this at that time, and it is recommended that it be approved.
Make a motion that we continue their waiver. They are already in receipt of a full waiver, and all they're requesting that is put in writing, because I don't believe they have a written application.
Correct.
And so everything would remain the same. We just need to give them a written recommendation for a waiver.
Okay.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson? Yes. Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley? Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Motion approved.
So next we move into other business.
Other business, I don't have any project updates for you right now. However, I do have other business. In reference to the aquatics feasibility study, it is provided to all the board members for your review. In doing some research of the distribution of this information, I found that previously, a special call meeting was held on March 15, 2021, and the board was updated with an aquatic feasibility study presentation. At the regular meeting on April 19, 2021, the former executive director at the time reported about upcoming stakeholder meetings. At the regular meeting on June 21st, 2021, the former executive director reported that the aquatics feasibility study was completed and will be presented to the board at a future meeting. And at the regular meeting on January 18th, 2022, the former executive director reported that copies of the aquatics feasibility study will be distributed to the board. So you should all have a copy of your the current feasibility study, and I just wanted to share that information with you.
So, fellow commissioners, we have this report here that was back from 2021. I'd like to see if we can get Stevenson Wilkinson, who was the group that was responsible for this study, to come speak to us in the very, very near future, because I think that could help with the amenities and whatnot that you might want down in Hopkins and Lower Richland that we talked about in some of our talks. So,
And I've actually already made that contact.
perfect. So maybe we can do that in conjunction in the next 10 days with some of the other stuff we're talking about. So we'll just have a pool day, if you will.
I would like to report next. We have our facilities for field rest updates. I know there was a question about that. Our fields that the community leagues play on, they are in field rest. Throughout the season, you know, community leagues are on our fields. And so the specific ones that they are on, we have a time frame that we're grass growing season, where we have to treat the grass, treat the infields. And so currently right now, I know there was a question in reference to where we are with that. And so we are in field rest for some of our facilities. Now, we do have people who are going on to do their All-Star playoffs. And so they are still out there using the site, but once they are finished, then those sites will become, those fields will become on rest as well.
Chair Lapine, I have a question for Executive Director. When the fields are on field rest, are we notifying the public in any way so that, I don't know the schedules, and I mean, I wouldn't need to know, but is it a notification involved so that individuals can make appropriate plans?
When community leagues are informed and they come up and sign their agreements, they are aware of when field rest will take place.
Is this a possibility to have these notifications added to social media or any sort of way where people would know this field is not available for the next XYZ
Yes.
days or
That's a good
weeks?
point. I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Ms. Williams,
Commissioner Jacobs?
you done?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry. Is there a policy that says that these fields are on rest at this particular time?
We have a policy and procedure that talks about our maintenance of our fields. We do have an annual schedule that we go by. It was last updated back in February. We actually had to re-review it. We had to review it in reference to our capital accreditation. So the information is updated.
In
So
February of 2023?
yes,
And this was
but
provided,
that's a document that has to be reviewed.
was it provided in this book?
It mimics that. Yes,
I'm sorry?
it mimics that.
It mimics that?
Yes.
Okay, can you give me that policy so I can review it?
Okay.
You got it on hand?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the policy that that I have and that I read. It says annual maintenance schedule. This is policy number 12110. For the month of July in particular, since we're in July, it says mow grass, make final preparations for fall softball league, starts early August, top dress ball fields as needed, trim shrubs as directed by the superintendent of horticulture and turf, replace fall surfacing in playground areas and add mulch, etc. as requested, replace fall surfacing, I said that one, excuse me, I'm sorry, check all water valves and valve boxes, make preparations for Little League baseball tournaments, sod areas in front of soccer goals at Polo Road, first week of July. Continue watering athletic fields as prescribed by weather. But that's not the only one. Give me 1 second, I'm trying to get to it. In 1210, it gives, that policy, it gives everything for marking the fields. But in the very next one, which most of the signs, when you go to the field, it says down for turf maintenance. This is policy 12120, turf fertilization program. It says all Richland County Recreation Commission parks will be fertilized using formulations in either a farm grade or slow release fertilizer when funds are available. Recommended application rates will be 800 pounds per acre per year, which will yield 128 pounds of actual nitrogen per acre per year. This rate will be divided into 2 applications per season at a rate of 400 pounds per acre. The first application should offer between April 15th to 30th, and the second application between June 15th and 30th. Polo Road soccer complexes and football fields may require additional application as necessary for new grass development to meet usage needs. And it gives us the figures of the different parts of what they need. Now, in my mind, and I could be wrong, and my colleagues can let me know, that means that the field should be open right now. Because turf fertilization should be April 15th through 30th and June 15th through 30th.
That's just applying the first and second application. So when they are applied through that time frame, that's not necessarily to say that we now, if we would go and we will do the field on June 30th, then now we would have the public to then go and get on the fields, because we could have sprayed fertilizer, did bugs. We're trying to get the grass and stuff to grow. We're trying to make the fields as playable as possible, because we're gonna have the communities coming back and saying that our fields are not in good condition, which is why we need a field rest.
Well, I did not want to say anything, but to the last thing that you said, I coach. So I often see the fields are in bad condition. I see that they're not maintained. This is no assassination on our employees, because I know in some areas we need to come up in that area. But what I don't want, and I want to be on the record saying this, is that we are telling our community and the people that pay their tax money to use these fields something different than what we are standing in this book. Now, as I stated, the first thing I said was this: if there's another policy, I'll apologize and I'll tell the community this is the policy for our fields, but I still haven't been shown that.
I will give you the updated procedures and the annual schedule that has, because that policy was last done back in 2013. So there have been some changes over the years, and I'll give you the updated one.
Okay,
I think I have it. I could forward it to him as well.
okay.
Ms. Williams, do we have Chapter 7 in the bylaws? No Chapter 7? Okay, do you have the policy that gives you permission to spend $100,000 without board approval?
We have our procurement policy.
Is that the policy that you have that gives you permission to spend $100,000 without our approval?
We don't spend $100,000 without board approval. Anything that's $100,000, we have to bring it to board. That is the threshold.
Okay, so when you spend $50,000 on laptops, and Ms. Lindsay got on you about that, you sent a policy saying that you could spend $100,000 without board approval. You have that policy?
There is a procurement policy that does identify all thresholds and the level of authority. When it's at $100,000, that is something that we have to bring to the board for approval.
So anything up to $100,000, you don't need the board approval.
That's right.
Who made that policy?
Been in effect for
Oh, it's been in
several
effect
years.
for a while.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to change it.
Okay.
Ms. Williams, can I get that policy as soon as possible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Um,
Anything else?
Yes, two more things. CAPRA, I've received the email from our CAPRA manager stating that our CAPRA review team will be contacting us about next steps for our process. And lastly, July is National Parks and Recreation Month. This year's theme is Where Community Grows. On Tuesday, July the 11th at 6:00 p.m., Richland County recognized RCRC and presented a proclamation declaring July as Parks and Recreation Month. Parks and Recreation Month is being featured on social media platforms for Richland County and also for RCRC during the month of July. And here is our proclamation.
Good job.
Thank you. I did thank the Richland County Council for recognizing recreation for the month of July. It is celebrated across the nation, and we just appreciate them for just recognizing us locally. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Good
Thank
report.
you.
Yep. James?
Good evening, Chair Lapine and fellow commissioners. My name is James Mercado. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator. I will be giving the Community Relations report today. I will try to give my best Miss Felicia Venable impression, so please don't judge me in advance. First slide. On June 20th, the Crane Creek Gym featured a chair volleyball tournament. 3 teams were in hand. 2 from Gardner's Ferry Adult Activity Center and 1 from the Park Lane Activity Center. I want to say congratulations to the Gardner's Ferry Adult Activity Center, team number 2, who were the defending champions and the winning team. I would also like to thank Commissioner Jacobs for being in attendance. Next slide. Okay. On June 21st, the Park Lane Adult Activity Center hosted the Women's Summer Social with over 60 in attendance. The participants got to have amazing food, music, and also participate in a fashion show. The guest speaker was Miss Summer Etheridge, who gave a motivational speech on women's empowerment. On June 25th, Richland County Recreation Commission, along with Serve and Connect, served as a community partnership for the Community Pop-Up Series. The purpose of the Community Pop-Up Series is to pop up in certain areas just to have a day of fun and to bring the community together. We'd like to thank the partnership with Serve and Connect, Richland School District 2, Richland County Sheriff's Department, and Forest Lake Presbyterian Church. On June 29th, the Gadsden Park Community Center hosted a national fitness and health pressure event. We'd like to thank all the staff, community organization, and partners who participated in this event. On July 8th, the following parks, Bluff Road Park, Coffin Road Park, Eastover Park, and Hopkins Park had the grand opening for the Lower Richland gaming zones, with over 70 people in attendance for these grand openings of all 4. We'd like to thank Commissioner Lindsay and Representative Dr. Jermaine Johnson for being in attendance. These parks all received 6 game stations, accessories, and HD TVs, which was funded by the Lower Richland Alumni Foundation and the Lower Richland Community Cares Project. On July 14th, the Park Lane Adult Activity Center hosted the ice cream social with over 40 people came to enjoy ice cream. Thanks to all the Park Lane Adult Activity staff for a great event. We would like to highlight our CIT program, which is the Counselors in Training, with 12 CITs from the following parks at North Springs Park, Polo Park, Blythewood Park, and Kaufman Road. They participate in weekly enrichment field trips, going to the Art Museum, State Museum, and also participate in community service projects. For future events, there would be Fireflies tours with behind the scenes of Segra Park, mock interviews, and more. We would like to highlight the RCRC Gardens, Ballantyne Community Center, Bluff Road Park, Kaufman Road Park, Gadsden Park Community Center, Hopkins Park, Starlight Community Park, and Trenton Park. All host RCRC Gardens. This is a great addition to the community by growing plants, actually cleaning them, cutting it up, and providing them for the community itself. Thanks to all the staff and volunteers who make this possible. As Ms. Tamika mentioned, did you know the National Recreation and Parks Association designated July as Park and Recreation Month? The theme is Where the Community Grows. And on July 21st, it is National Park and Recreation Professionals Day. And as she alluded to on July 11th, Richland County Council recognized Richland County Recreation Commission and staff with a proclamation for National Parks and Recreation Month and recognizing the contributions of RCRC. We'd like to take this time to say thank you to all the RCRC staff. And lastly, I'd like to highlight upcoming events. On July 20th, we have Smart Food Choices for Healthy Aging at Gadsden Park Community Center. July 25th is Hot Dog and Ice Cream Social at Ballantine Community Center. July 28th is the Back to School drive-through at North Springs Park. July 29th is a Back to Teaching drive-through at Eastover Park. August 1st is National Night Out at Park Lane Adult Activity Center. August 3rd is the Back to School Bass drive-through at Meadow Lake Park. August 4th is a Back to School Bass drive-through at Friars Gate Park. August 8th is the Blood Drive at Blythewood Park. And finally, on August 25th, the Gardeners Ferry Adult Activity Center is having their annual all-white affair. Oh, I said it loud. August 8th is the Hopkins Park Back to School Bash. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. All right,
I'm sorry, what's that?
so we're going to executive session now.
I make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Mayor Bob. So we just say that Ms. Lindsay had to leave, but in executive session, no votes were taken. I moved to come out, oh.
Wait a minute, Mr. Jacob, get in.
I'd like to make a motion to move out of executive session.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Mr. Chairman, I would just state on behalf of the board and the commission that no action was taken, and if you would like to make a motion to adjourn, that would be the appropriate motion.
So moved?
Someone would make that.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
8:48. Yes, we do need to finish.